Good morning, everyone. So yesterday, had a client come in and they happened to notice that we were using PayPal for our credit card processing, and they are currently using Square. They wanted to know, what's the advantages and the disadvantages and so on and so forth. So I thought I would put this together because if you're going to use PayPal for your credit card processing, PayPal works different than almost every other company out there. Um, PayPal, um, the moment that payment is authorized and approved, you have the money, just not in your bank account. You have it in your PayPal account. Um, so, like I said, the moment that card says approved, boom, you've got the money. That's the advantage to PayPal. Um, where with like Square or other credit card merchanting, you don't have the money immediately. They deposit it into your checking account 2, 3, 4 days later. And if you need the money kind of like now or quicker, you can manually trigger it to do that. And I think most companies charge an additional 1% on top of the regular credit card fee um, to do that. So, like through our accounting software, which I've demonstrated here before, wavesapp.com, we could take credit cards through that company, and it works well. So then I can email invoices out, and if someone wants to pay through the Wave system, they certainly can. And that payment then usually takes 2 to 4 days to drop into my bank account, unless I go in and manually say I need it now. And if I do that, it costs me another 1%. So I'm losing, if I do that immediate, I want the money now, through credit card merchants or through waves.com, and I think Square is the same way. You pay, your usual fee of anywhere from 2.5 to 3.5% for swiping the credit card, and then an additional 1% fee on top of that to have the money now. And the way how the money works now is they usually reverse debit it through your bank account's debit card. Usually, PayPal works a little bit different. I mean, if you have a debit card on file, they'll do it that way. If not, they drop it. You can trigger it in PayPal and they'll put it in your bank account tomorrow. So, but I wanted to show you this because if you have PayPal, obviously, and you're processing payments through PayPal, get yourself a card reader. They're not too expensive. The cheap ones are about $25. If you want the tap, that's a lot more expensive. But then you can you could put your credit card reader and attach it to your phone, and it just makes it convenient because it sits in your hand and you link it to your phone and you process your credit cards and it goes through really quick. Anyone who has been here and paid with a credit card has seen how the process worked, and then you just sign on the screen on the phone. And like I said, the money is there immediately. It puts it right into your PayPal account. The disadvantage to PayPal is PayPal does not put it in your bank account, where every other credit card company does, or merchant account does. So that's the disadvantage to PayPal. It is not an immediate transfer. You have to go in and tell it, put it in the bank account. So there's the pros and cons to that. So if you're going to use PayPal, you have to kind of remember that that money is not going to go in your bank account automatically, but you do have immediate access to it. So if you're shopping online and you're using your PayPal account, you could certainly, go to Amazon or eBay or B&H Photos or Staples or whatever that gives you the option to pay with PayPal and make your purchases through PayPal. If you can, along with your credit card reader, if you're going to use this for business, along with your credit card reader, get your business debit card to go with it. Because what then you can do is if you need gas, the money drops into your account, you swipe your PayPal debit card, and the money comes out of your PayPal account first before it comes out of your checking account. That's really, really nice. However, on the back end, it can cause lots of problems. And this is what I wanted to inform people about this because, we promote PayPal for, it's from what we have seen, they have, the cheapest credit card transaction fee. If you swipe a card, it sounds 2.7% is what we normally pay. It sounds a little bit high, and it is if you're going through. If you compare that to what the swipe fee is for a bank, a bank or a merchant account and stuff. Oh, and I get this all the time. we can get your rates down as 1.9% or 1.7%. Yeah, but then there's an equipment rental fee, or you have to buy the equipment, and then there's a monthly fee, and then if you don't do minimum sales, then they tag you for that. So no, to me, PayPal works well. If you're using Square, Square works wonderful too. So, and I think there's another company out there. One of my other clients, they used to sell it. I want to say it's Red something. I don't know. Hopefully, if you're paying attention, you can put that little blip down there too. But yeah, credit cards, PayPal. That's what we use. And of course, you know, our accounting software has its own built-in credit card processing also. So again, like I said, we have the money now, but it sits in a PayPal account. It doesn't go into our bank. And so that messes with the checkbook if you don't know how to do this. And so this is what I'm going to demonstrate today, is how to make your checkbook work with PayPal. So this is a blank spreadsheet. A lot of people who are doing this, if you're using QuickBooks, your process is going to be a little bit different. But this is how I keep track of my books. And so as you can see here, we have the date, the check or the payment, PayPal, that'll become important here in a moment, deposits, balance, who and what. So let's say, you know, opening day of business, and we're going to put an opening balance in here. Let's say we have $2,500. Woohoo, a lot of money. And we'll just title this opening balance, because then when I make the formulas, it'll make sense then. So you got to have a starting point, opening balance. So on day one, you know, you wrote a check for, or you didn't write a check, you swiped your debit card. Yeah, let's do this as a check. So you wrote a check for the rent. Let's say you rent $675. And then you're going to do rent, you know, with whoever your landlord is. So here's where you need to start adding these formulas. And once you get the first one in, you can copy and paste. So in adding your formulas, and this will show up here in a second, it'll be a little confusing at first, but once you see it, you're going to do the equal sign to start your formula. You're going to start with your balance. That makes sense. You're going to deduct your check or payment. And then you're going to add PayPal, add any deposits, and there you go. Now this is where it's going to come in, and you'll see why here in a second, why you add PayPal, you don't deduct it. So, next thing you bought, you went to, let's see, you probably paid your insurance for the month. So we're going to copy that formula, then we're just going to copy it a whole bunch of times. So you just have a running balance. Scroll back up here. So, and the other thing too is, this is really going to depend on you. You can put your dollar, your pennies in, so it's all consistent. So this was general liability insurance, and that was probably a bank transfer, or you paid it with a credit card. Most likely it's bank transfer, or you wrote a check, doesn't matter. So here's your first sale for the day. Now here's why this is important. I, on my phone, have PayPal here, so every time my transaction goes through, I can see. So if I receive money, I can see what the fee is. If I spend money, I can see what the PayPal transaction is. Generally, if you use a credit card reader with your phone, your credit card fee is 2.7%. If you manually key it in, I think it is 3.5% plus 30 cents. So obviously cheaper to swipe versus key, although, you know, if you don't have your swiper yet, you got to key it in. So this is going to be your first sale for the day. They paid with a credit card. You're using their PayPal system. You look at your phone, or you go to paypal.com, or whatever. It was $100 sale. You look at the fee and you record the fee. Now, if you happen to know what the formula is for this off the top of your head, you could do this. But your fee is $2.70. But you look at your PayPal balance, instead of having $100, you have like $97.20. I think it's what it is, or 30 cents, because PayPal took out their fee. See how that is? That's why it's a positive. And you see it doesn't affect your balance because it came out of your PayPal accounts first. And we're going to call this credit card fee, client A. All right. So there you go. So whatever it is that client A bought for $100 from you, now you have to go get it. And so you either order it online. Let's say they bought, let's say you went to Amazon and you bought the part or whatever it is that they're buying, and it cost $57 or $54.70. If you're using Amazon, you know you have the opportunity to use PayPal, so you could put that towards your PayPal balance. So $54.70. Now it's showing as you made a payment of $54.70. It came out of your PayPal account as $54.70, but it doesn't affect your checkbook because it washes out. And we're going to put Amazon for client A. Good so far, right? So, and there's some other things you can do later on. I have it in my checkbook just to keep track of it, but I keep running totals across the top so I know how much money has been used in PayPal and credit cards and debit cards. But this is just a basic. So let's say you have to get another part or another item, and this one cost $70. Now, this is why looking at your phone or looking at your PayPal account, or if you know how to do the math in your head, this is where this comes in, because remember, client A, let me find my calculator here. And if my computer seems to be running slow, it's because I had to make a memory adjustment. Okay, so remember, client A paid you $100. Okay, you got dinged a $2.70 credit card fee for that, so you have $97.30 left. Now you have already spent $54.70 on Amazon, so that leaves you $42.60 in your PayPal account, but you're purchasing a $70 item. So what do? Well, this is where the $42.60 comes into play. So you put the $42.60 there, and now you see why you have to add the PayPal versus taking it out. So then it adjusts your checkbook correctly. So there's your $70 charge. $42.60 of that came out of your PayPal, which does not affect your checkbook. And then the difference between these two goes towards your checkbook, because PayPal will then pull that difference out of your checking account in a day or so, or 2 days. It usually takes about 2 days for a PayPal transaction to go through. And we're going to call this eBay for client A. And this is just how I do it. This way I can keep track of what purchases are for the clients, what purchases are for the stores. And you could do this by columns if you want to do it that way. If it's easier for you to manage, that's fine. But this is why it is important to do it that way. So, and say later that day, you had another client came in, purchased another $100, but they paid you by check. So you make that deposit. So this would be payment by client B. And see, I put it as a deposit because you're putting it in the bank account, or at the end of the day, I use individual transactions. So for like every check I get, I record it in the checkbook as how much it was and who it from. That way, if their check bounces, I know where to go find it in the checkbook. If you're a bigger business, obviously you're making total daily deposits, and I put payment, and it's say client C comes in and they make a purchase of $100, they pay you cash. I do cash payment. Makes sense, right? Now if you're using cash on hand, you can have a column for that also. if you really wanted to do that, and then you take it out of the checkbook and do, that gets in the whole complicated process. Whatever cash you get, just put it in the bank. It's just going to be easier for you, trust me. If you're, if you got a cash drawer like we do, we balance out our cash drawer once a week. Whatever our overages is goes into the bank. But like I said, it goes into the bank, but the individual payments go into the checkbook, and then if there's a difference, I just adjust it that way. But that's just me. So, this client C made a cash payment, and I put it right into the bank account. So, but now you need to buy stuff for clients B and client C. You've already expended your $100 out of PayPal. So, say you bought a $35 part from Etsy, and so this is Etsy for client B. And see if you're using your PayPal card, because you have no more money in your PayPal account, that $35 comes right out of your checkbook. Again, this is why it takes a little bit of while to adjust to this, and it takes some thought. Once you get used to doing it this way, it makes perfect sense. But in the beginning, like for the first month of business, it's going to drive you nuts. So it was Etsy for client B, and we bought another part for client C. And it was a $55 part, and we got it from Amazon for client C. Again, comes right out of the checkbook because I have no more money in the PayPal account. The next day, your first client of the day comes in, and they pay you $300 with their credit card. So again, you look at your balance. You can either look on PayPal, or you can look on your phone if you have the PayPal here to get that payment fee. Myself, again, I know what the formula is. So $300 sale times 0.027. That's their credit card fee, because I swiped it. It was successful. So it tells me it's $8.10. So I'm going to take $8.10 and put it in PayPal. And this is, CC fee client B. So now I have $300 in the bank account, or in the PayPal account, and we're going to go to we're going to call it B&H Photo. Sorry, we're going to go to B&H Photo, and we're going to buy a part for the client, and it's going to be with sales tax, because it's out. Everyone gets charged sales tax unless you have a sales tax exemption form. So it's probably going to be $199 plus tax. It's going to be like $213.20 something. Doesn't matter. Now, again, because you're looking at your phone, or the balance offhand, that came straight out of your PayPal account, and that was B and H Photo client D. Okay, so today you have to buy some fuel, and you put, I usually do it in round numbers, but let's say you put $35 in gas in the truck. Again, looking at your phone, looking at your PayPal account, if you know it off the top of your head, that's fine. But let's go back to that calculator, just to remind you, you took a $300 sale, you're going to minus your $8.10 for your credit card fee. You purchased that for a client, you've still got $78. So you're going to buy fuel for $35. See how it did not take it out of the checkbook. If you're using mileage, you can't use this. You have to do the mileage thing, because you can't take that out of your, well, you recorded it in your checkbook, but you can't put it in your counting, because if you're using mileage, it's a whole different thing. So, all right, so you've got your fuel in there, and I don't know, let's say you went to Olive Garden to smooth a client. So, and you went to Olive Garden, and you probably spent, I don't know, it's been a while since I've been to Olive Garden. It was a party of 5, so you probably spent $200 for Olive Garden plus tip. So let's make it $213 and 79 cents. Because pennies. So again, This is where you look at your balance or the transaction it goes through. You had $78.70 in your PayPal account. That money comes out first. The rest goes into there. And we're going to do Olive Garden. Helps that I can spell. And what it was for. I think we need to get some new clarifications on schmoozing funds. You used to be able to take 50% of this off for your taxes, and then Trump took it away, and then I think Trump put it back, and then Trump took it away, and then Trump put it back. I have no idea. Check your accountant, see if you could take this off. But if you can put this as dining expense client, because you used to be able to write it off on your taxes. And again, check with your accountants on that. But there you can see you spent $213.79 at Olive Garden, but you had $78.70 in your PayPal account, and then the difference comes out of your checkbook. So that's how you do it. It seems confusing, it seems convoluted, it's going to drive you insane probably for the first 4 to 6 weeks if you're doing this, but it will help you. Like I said, you get the PayPal Here app. I mean, you're going to have to, if you're going to have the so if you're going to have the card swipers attached to your phone, you're going to use PayPal Here for credit card processing. And then the other app that's on here that you can use to check your balances through PayPal, I think it's just regular old PayPal Balance. I'm trying to log in to see what it's called. Yeah, I think it's just called Balance or PayPal Mobile. That's what it's called, PayPal Mobile. So you end up having 2 apps on your phone for PayPal, one for processing credit cards, one for checking your balances. And those, every transaction that goes through PayPal will show up on that app, or you can go to the website paypal.com, sign in, and look at it that way. This is, like I said, this is how you do this. And of course, I'm sure you've seen this. You have to be careful. You can always get, PayPal debit card. So, you can use this at the gas station or at McDonald's or whatever. It's just a debit card. But you can get that, and this money comes out of your account, your PayPal account first, then hits your bank account. So, yeah, if you're going to take the time to set up your PayPal to work as your credit card processing website, it's a little convoluted, as you can see. Once you get used to it, it's perfectly fine because it just all makes sense. It clicks, and if you need help with formulas and ideas and stuff like that, I can certainly help you with this if you're doing it. If you don't want to learn this, if you want to keep it simple, Square, one of the other credit card merchants, because this, although complicated, I think is the better way to go, because I think in the long run it is a little bit cheaper. That's just my experience though. So like I said, if you want to use something like Square or another merchant account where they automatically put the payment into your bank account 2 or 3 days later, then you just have to record it in your checkbook that way. If you're going to use PayPal where you have the money now, you have to kind of do your checkbook like this so you can account for that immediate transfer, that immediate funds, and those immediate uses for those PayPal accounts. So, and heaven forbid you forget one, but you can always go through, myself, I've got cleared and recorded over here, so I know when a payment goes through, I can mark it, and when it's recorded in the accounting software, that's where I put it. Everyone is a little bit different. You'll find out what works for you, but these are going to be the 4 critical columns for you. And note, if you have a PayPal debit card, you can pay your sales tax every month or every 6 months, however you're doing it, with your PayPal debit card. Yes, and then you get PayPal rewards on top of that. So once you get your debit card, definitely sign up for the rewards program. It's not very big, it's only 1%, and they pay it out every week. So I mean, I average a return on my rewards once a week, anywhere between $4 and $8. It used to be once a month. It was a tank of gas. Now they changed it to once a week. So, like I said, you'll get that email notice, hey, here's your rewards payout again, and then you have to do this to account for it because, Sunday morning comes along, you run over to McDonald's and you grab a quick bite, and your total comes to $5.35 for McDonald's, and you've got $7 in your PayPal account because of your rewards, so again, you got to take that into account. And if you miss a transaction, by all means, or you miss where you put it in your checkbook, but you later find out that it should have taken out of PayPal, you can just go back in here and adjust it. It's not a big deal. And then the formulas will all readjust the balances. So, again, and just me, when it comes to, it's really for making sure there's no fraudulent charges going through. I'm checking the bank account every day. I'm checking the PayPal account every day, watching for those charges. Because if they do come through, you can file a complaint. You can file the unauthorized charge through PayPal, but you can't do it until it clears your bank account. Go figure. Or it has cleared out of PayPal. But what you can't do, and this will drive you nuts, what you can't do is you can't go to the bank and put a stop on an incoming debit, at least according to Firelens. Because if you just try and stop one, they're going to ask, well, where's that payment coming from? And if you put PayPal will forever be blocked at your bank, and you'll never get anything to go through. So, yeah, if you ever have a dispute, it works a little bit against you in this regards. But again, if you're watching it all the time, every day, that really, really helps. So, yeah, that's how you do a checkbook with PayPal, because, it is a little backwards, a little convoluted, excuse me. But once you get used to it and adjust to it, and it makes sense to you, and it takes about 4 weeks for it to get adjusted to this, but like I said, you're taking credit cards through PayPal. The money goes, you have it now, but it goes into your PayPal account. It does not go into your bank account. So, if you don't have your debit cards yet, you can still use PayPal online, Amazon, eBay, Staples, whatever, because they give you the option to pay for PayPal, and you can do it like this. And then once you get your debit cards, then you can start using your debit card like at the gas station, or like I said, smoozing clients at Olive Garden, or however you want to do it. But you definitely need to put this in here, because if not, you will end up shorting. It will look to you like you've shorted yourself. You'll end up like this ungodly small amount of money here. But in reality, you're trying to balance your checkbook. You're like, why is this not balancing? And that's why, because you've got to take the PayPal transactions out. So, yeah, that's how you do this, and that will help you to reconcile your bank statements at the end of the month. I do it daily, so I don't have to worry about it. I encourage people to sign into your bank accounts every day, check your transactions. Of course, grandma and grandpa, great grandma and grandpa, who are not computer people, you might have to do it for them at least once a week just to cover their butts. But on a business side, this is how you do it, using PayPal. This is the most efficient way I've found it, and hopefully that gives you insights. And then don't forget, you can highlight stuff too. So if you really wanted to, okay, so there's credit card fee for client A, you can mark client A as red, and then anything related to it, you can do this too. This way you can color code things if you want to. So, and this is, I do this for keeping track of balances. So when a threshold goes through a certain, I go through below a certain threshold, it's yellow. If it gets too close to a threatening level, it immediately trips to red. I've showed that in other videos where you can do the color coding. So yeah, you can do this also, if you really want to take the time to do it. So, and then there's client C. So client C, let's make client C blue or teal or whatever, so you can see the corresponding, stuff like that. So, but yeah, that's how you do it with PayPal on your checkbook. It's a pain in the butt at first, but once you figure it out and you get accustomed to it and used to it, it makes sense. But yeah, if you've been one of those people all your life, you swipe your credit card or your debit card and you put it in your bank account and that's it, and you make this change, this is not going to work for you. So, like I said, it's a few extra steps, but it does help out in the end. So, that's how you do that. I thought I would share that because a client did ask, and I wanted to give a detailed explanation on how to do that. So, if you found this video helpful, like, share, and subscribe, please. Those numbers are important. My numbers are still way, way down, but I'm just really starting off. If you don't have a YouTube or a Google account, you can find us on Facebook. In the video description below, there's some web links for our website and how to donate via PayPal or through the Waves app off our app. Computer problems. There's our number. Give us a call, schedule time. We can come pick it up if you're in our service area, or we can schedule time to drop off your stuff. We'll definitely take a look at them and see if we can get you fixed, and we'll go from there. You guys have a great day. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.